Yeah, we decided as a crew, we were always DJing other people's parties, but then we learned from Spectrum, from our man Jimmy, how to throw our own parties. And so we knew how to rent a hall, which our first hall was Samarica Hall in Carson. It was pretty much a Samoan-owned, emptied out supermarket. And pretty much it was a Samoan supermarket that they emptied out and made it into a hall, and people would do their parties there. So all those Latino, flyers with a million names on it, like Trenier and the Cover Girls and all of them performed at this hall. And so we're like, okay, well, we could be our little version of them. And so we rented the hall, that same hall. We got like not 100 groups, but we had maybe 15, 20 groups part of this lineup. And then everybody kind of chipped in. They chipped in on renting the hall, paying for the flyer, paying for the printing of the flyer. But the crazy thing was like a lot of us were just being creative. And so, some of our parents worked at offices where you could get some free printing. So we would go and print up at the office over there or whatever. And, one of our friends owned a pip printing shop. And so we'd go over there and print up a whole bunch of stuff for free or practically free.
So everyone pitched in basically.
Same with equipment. Like we didn't own a massive sound system. So we'd pitch in like 10 different groups, brought in their speakers and their lighting, and then we combined it all to make it look like one big sound system and one lighting system.
Dope. So from what I'm taking, me learning off of this, of course it's hindsight now, but when we were doing it, there was only 5 of us in our crew. And we did it ourselves, and we just rented stuff. So I thought yours might be more efficient with other people pitching in.
We were more efficient. In today's terms, they would say that's collaboration. That's business collaboration right there.
Yeah.
We were collaborating early on as young little high schoolers and just making the most of it. And we were only charging $5 to get into the party.
Yeah.
$5. But we'd pack in 1,000 people.
Yes, yeah. I feel like talking about those days could be a whole other episode on its own.
Yeah, that could be a whole episode in itself.
We can talk about that for hours.
But yes, so you were asking me about how did I make that transition to nightclubs. Yeah. I mean, that was the start of it, doing hall parties. From hall parties, we made it into bars. And then from bars, we graduated into nightclubs.
Right. And I think I came hanging out with you guys around that transition. I think it was like Daily Planet era.
Yeah. So David Gonzalez was one of those guys that was, like a turning point for Legend. We went from being more of a little mobile DJ crew and a party crew that threw small hall parties to someone that actually wanted to elevate the scene and take it up a notch. And so he was pivotal in taking us from doing hall parties to little bars, and then from the little bars into actual nightclubs. He grew up in the Palos Verdes area, and he was a little more educated and well-spoken. Right. He knew how to talk to managers and can actually hold really good business conversations in terms of what the deal would look like, what we could bring, what they would get, what we would get, so on and so forth. So he was that dude that kind of changed the game. This other guy, Eric Williams, is someone we also connected with, me and Dave. And Eric Williams is a guy from Atlanta, but he moved to LA and he joined us. He just kind of connected with us, and then he was the first one to bring us into our very big nightclub. And so that was the Variety Arts Center in downtown LA, which we originally called The Source.